Canada 2, the United States 1. Another disaster as Poch's first real test. He absolutely fails. This team fails. Just, oh my God, you guys, I am running out of words for this team. I am running out of words to describe what it is like to be a USMNT fan nowadays. I am completely, I don't even know where to start. This is completely unacceptable performance. Both games, both today and also against Panama. And Canada were the better team. And I think the worst part about today was that they didn't seem to care. I said on Tax Stream, before the game that we needed to see a performance that showed that they still give a fuck. And we didn't get that. I mean, we created one chance until the 65th, 70th minute, and then we got some set pieces from Gio. But overall, you know what really gets my goat? Is that last corner from Giovanni Reyna. We're like in the late 80th minute. Why was Matt Turner not up there? Why were we not throwing every possible body in the box to try and get the equalizer? All of that stuff just makes me think this team doesn't care at all. Hey, Jack. Right. Yet another depressing stream ahead of us after two embarrassing performances by the U.S. men's national team against Canada and Panama. And fans have every right to be upset, but I honestly think some people might not even be that upset. They might just not care anymore. Because why should we care if the team doesn't care and the coach doesn't care? It feels like the only people left who do care are the fans.
It's funny,
just absolutely shambolic could possibly be.
No, I was going to say it's funny because when we lost the Copa America, I was actually angry. Like, we felt angry. This camp, it's like, I was probably angry on Thursday. I'm not going to lie. But today I'm not really angry. I'm just kind of like, fuck these guys. Like, they didn't seem to care. Outside of, like, Luna, no one really seemed to try. I guess, like, Tyler Adams tried in the Tyler Adams-like way. Didn't really play that great, but, like, that way. But again,
but that's not enough. You can't have two players caring.
No grit, no passion, no ideas. Apparently, I saw Scuffed put a tweet that apparently when Pulisic was subbed out, he was saying no to Pochettino. That he didn't want to go out. It's like, dude, you dropped two stinkers. You shut up and get out. Two stinkers. He was horrible both games. Terrible.
Yeah.
That's entitlement. That's entitlement. It's like, I don't know.
Refused to come off. I thought to myself, you better score that.
I think you're freezing your internet.
Yeah, sorry. Did we disappear for a second there?
Yeah, you're still there.
Can you hear me?
You're there. Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm plugged into the wall. I don't know why the internet's freaking out on me. But yeah, look, that I was going to say about Christian Pulisic on that free kick. I said he had to score that after refusing to come off. You better score that then. He didn't. It was just a really rough camp from our best player. A really rough camp. But this whole team, it just feels like nobody cared at all. Not a single, like maybe Luna and Adams, you can give them credit for caring. I don't think anybody else really seemed to. I was talking about that last corner just now that Giovanni Reyna took. We were in like the 88th minute. Why was Matt Turner not in the box? Why were we not throwing every single body in there to try and get the equalizer? It just felt like, and even at the end, why are we not dumping it into the box to try and, anything can happen. You don't push bodies in the box every time. Let's just put 5, 6, 7 balls into the box. You never know what can happen. But it seems like we were just doing the same thing. Just pass the ball around, hope to maybe come up with a chance. Just really, really awful. Steven Spada says, I really want to give Poch another shot, but his leadership has been terrible. The players are undisciplined. Our performances and results haven't been good. Fourth is not acceptable. No, of course. Not winning this at all was not acceptable. Winning today would have just been a slight step in the right direction. It wouldn't have saved anything. But instead, we got yet another loss. Poch misses the club game. Well, I'll tell you what he doesn't miss, the money coming into his bank account. Terrible, says Charles Vargas. If these players don't want to come in and play for the shirt, stay it that way, and someone who does will come on instead. Here's the problem. It's been different groups of players, right? We had some MLS players in this camp that played. The only guy who really covered himself in glory was Diego Luna, right? Not that ever, like, I don't think Arston was terrible, but I don't think it changed anything, even if he
He was
supposedly
kind of
cared more,
bad.
which
He was kind of bad.
I mean, he was Arston. Like, I expected that from him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he did anything wrong, but he's just not a quality player. In hindsight, do you guys regret putting 90% of the blame on Berhalter and not enough on the players, given what we've seen recently? Well, Carolina, if you remember after the Copa America, we put a lot of blame on the players. But let's not pretend this didn't start under Berhalter. Berhalter got this generation and helped to instill this mindset in them. So this is not Berhalter's fault, but people are going to now go back and try to retrace history and be like, oh, Berhalter wasn't the problem. Yes, he was.
Did also people forget that McKennie was being called fat by the fans? They were criticizing Pulisic being soft.
Yeah.
They were complaining about all the players. Almost every player was taking shit. Like everyone was complaining about. It wasn't like everyone said it was 90% on Berhalter. The whole argument was Berhalter has had that his time. He had 5 years, right? Or 6 years, whatever, 5 or 6 years.
6.
He had 6 years. He had all that time, and the team wasn't moving forward. We had stagnated and even regressed. So the player pool is what it is. Like, regardless of what we like or not, these are mostly our best players. You can't replace all of them. So you replace the coach and see if there's change. Now, obviously, it's reaching a point where if it just keeps going like this, it's like, what coach can make these players play? BJ Callahan? Like, would it be sustainable with him?
Did.
He did. Yeah, he did. But again, it's just like, I don't understand this narrative of like, no one was blaming the players. The players were being scrutinized after Copa America.
Yeah, I got called racist for saying McKennie shouldn't have been out at a hookah bar after the Panama loss. By that,
they got pissed at me because I called McKennie fat.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The players continue to get blame, and they got plenty of blame. Dusty Wasti says, haven't felt this embarrassed since Trinidad. Yeah, this is like following up on the embarrassment from Copa America, right? It's like, it's the combination. It's Copa America and then this right after that. Diego Luna, I feel for you, man. I know what you mean by the embarrassment. Diego Luna is the only player that deserves to be on the national team. Yeah, he tried. He got the assist. He had a good defensive game. He hustled. He was the only one who showed some spirit out there. Maybe it's time for BJ Callahan to coach an MLS team with Reyna, Luna, Pulisic, and Pepe. None of those guys are in MLS, though. He's coaching Nashville, and he's doing a decent job there. Good luck to him. Not like it's going to make things worse. Musa is mental. David Garzon says, y'all are the two biggest pulley glazers there is. Have you not been watching our last two streams? How we've been talking about how terrible pulley was?
What does it mean by glazers? I'm a Pulisic fan. I'm a Pulisic fan.
Yeah, but that's not a glazer. We call him out when he plays like shit.
I literally just tweeted calling Pulisic entitled for saying no to a sub after dropping 2 stinkers.
He was by far the worst player in both games. I don't know about the worst, but one of them, certainly for the standards that we expect of him. Also, I bet y'all wish we had Jesse Marsh now. He beat us without Davies. No, thank you. Nope, I still don't want.
Did you see him getting a red card for behaving like an overgrown toddler when when the ref made the right call?
No, it was a perfectly acceptable call. Arsene didn't touch him. He got sent off yet again. I don't want.
Also, Canada finished 3rd and they sucked today. So
yeah. We should never play without Gio or Luna at the 10. I'm going to talk about Gio in a little bit. I thought his 3 set pieces. The guy who created the most chances in this camp was Giovanni Reyna. And that being said, outside of those set pieces, he didn't play well. In open play, he was actually quite poor, right? That's a different discussion. But I think Luna's earned a Gold Cup call-up. At least he seems to give a fuck, right? Mm-hmm. Pulisic as captain is just never going to work. Leadership issues, top to bottom of the organization. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about U.S. soccer as well. Steven Spada says, I would rather have an average set of players that play with heart than the great players that play lazy. Here's my question, Steven. Who are these players? Where are these players that play with heart? Where are they? Can you point them out to me? Because outside of Luna and Adams, I didn't see anybody today. And that goes for the Euro-based players and the MLS-based players. So I don't know where we were supposed to find these players that play with heart. I think it is systemic from U.S. soccer all the way down, where U.S. soccer doesn't actually care. They only care about the result insofar as it makes them money. They're probably mad that we didn't beat Panama because then we could have a Mexico final, right? U.S. soccer doesn't care. It's all about all they're interested in is selling the game. They don't want to grow the game. Same with MLS. They just want to sell the game back to the diehards and make their little cash pile. That's all they want to do. And that systemic issue where there's a lack of accountability starts from the very top and it goes all the way through MLS, through the national teams, to the youth level, everywhere. How do you think Luna would have performed against the parked bus Panama team? Hard to say, but based on performance today, we should have given him a shot against Panama. I think he could help us.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think he could help us break lines. Restart Turney, starting lineup. Yeah, maybe we can do that at the end. But go ahead, Jack.
I mean, I was going to say probably would have been the ideal sub for Tessman instead of McGlynn at that moment in the game. That probably would have been a better sub. Honestly, Luna or Reyna at that moment.
At this point, a Gold Cup victory is mandatory. I'll go one step further. Gold Cup victory is bare minimum, because even if we win the Gold Cup, it's going to be hard to erase the Copa America and this Nations League disaster from the fans' mind, right? So yeah, not just mandatory, but like bare minimum. I think the problem with this team is a lack of identity. Poch needs to find a way to create a culture of excellence, but he doesn't have much time. I think if you're talking about identity, you're not talking about a playing style. You're talking about a culture of excellence. The problem is, I don't know if Poch can create a culture of excellence when he himself does not seem to care that much. He really doesn't. That's what Sack said it on the last stream, and I agree with him. I don't know if Poch cares whether this team, maybe he cares about the World Cup, and this was all just like, let's see how we do. I don't know. Listen to this. Joshua Swift says, just left the stadium. The players applauded the fans. How are we not booing these clowns off the field? For what? No one seems to care. That's soccer culture in America for you, Joshua Swift. No accountability whatsoever. Miss the fun and swagger Robinson and Dest bring to the team. I have not enjoyed watching Joe Scally and whoever else we throw out there at fullback. Sure. I mean, would it have helped having Destin and A-Rob today? Yes. But I think the problems are a lot bigger than the players we were missing. Legend says Jesse is still jogging the tunnels. Yeah, he was jogging through the tunnel after he got sent off. Poch, no creativity in formations players. Weah and Luna looked good this camp. That's it. Pulley, just no show. Not sure this group is it. But then what group, David? We're left with the same problems. When we say this group isn't it, which group is it then? Who? Like, these are the guys we have. Who's going to come in that's going to make us better? Do you guys think that Poch has any added value here? I've got the feeling he ego-stroked our boys and further killed their work rate. Not promising. You can't add value when you yourself don't see the value in the job outside of your bank account. I'll say that, Bailey. Someone needs to step up like Channing Tatum, bruh. Oh, okay. Is that a Step Up reference? Got it. It's an old movie, an old dance movie. Channing Tatum's breakout role. Steven Spada, I guess what I was saying about playing with heart is that Pulley is supposed to be great, but honestly, he just didn't seem to care this camp. Hard to say if Pulisic cares or doesn't care, but he had a very, very bad camp. I think Pulley has always tried, but he was very, very poor today, and he's not a natural leader. I don't think we should ever be trying to make Pulisic a captain or the leader of this team or make documentaries about him. Put him on the left wing and let him do his thing. There are times he's going to play poorly. Yes, he's a streaky player. This camp, he was very, very, very poor. Ream is looking pretty good right now. Not much play out of the back today. and CCV didn't do enough. At least Ream can bring it out of the back with accurate long balls. Sure, but even if he did, like, again, we can pinpoint a lot of different things that were wrong today or players who didn't show up enough. Or, also Ream is 37 years old. Like, are we going to be relying on him for how long? Like there's the issues are so much bigger than the injuries that we had or Tim Ream wasn't there. The issues are so much bigger than that. And I want to focus on the bigger issues about this team right now.
Did we also even create today, like besides the goal?
We had one chance the whole game from open play. And then we had 3 set pieces that we created chances that we fluffed all of them. All 3. I mean, fluffed Diego Luna. It was a good save by the Canadian keeper. I think Luna was a little slow to get to it, but I'm not blaming Luna. Okay. And then Brian White should have scored that last goal, like straight in front of goal. He should have scored it. And then Tanner Tessman on the first corner flicked it wide. Right. But you can't be relying on Gio Reyna to come on and get 3 set pieces. Although, maybe if we had him against Panama, he could have done something. But again, these are all issues that shouldn't be overshadowing the real issue, is that this team plays with no fire in their belly, whether it's Poch or whether it's Greg. And so it doesn't matter what else we can do. Peaches says, Turner can't get club matches. Why does he start? We have a goalkeeping problem, Peaches. I think you're English because you got a Nottingham Forest badge and you paid in pounds. So I think the problem is maybe you could have given Zach Steffen, but Zach Steffen got sick. So he wouldn't have played today either. And if we played Patrick Schulte, it would have been more of the same. I don't actually know that Turner did much wrong today, to be honest. I don't think this was on Turner.
I think Jonathan David's goal, the Jonathan David goal, a better goalkeeper saves that. It wasn't too off from him.
But I don't know if Turner is starting, if he necessarily saves that. I think that's just...
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. About that, you're right, yeah. That's his level. Might have conceded anyway, so...
Curious, why do you think Poch no care? Shea in. Because he's making $6 million a year to coach a team he doesn't care about. I mean, it's not Argentina. That's who he keeps referencing, right? He doesn't care about the US. He's just making money here. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I just so everyone understands, we don't think Pochettino won't care till the end. What we think is he doesn't give a crap until the World Cup.
Yeah.
He'll obviously care about the World Cup because he knows that can lead to a better job. But ultimately, one, you have to build excitement, right, for the fans and for the program, for everything. And two, you have to prepare the team for it. But it kind of feels like Pochettino will start caring when we're close to the World Cup. Right now, he's kind of on cruise control or vacation mode or I show speed celebrity match mode, things like that.
Talking to Miljovic's uncle in Argentina.
Yeah.
Why are we not recruiting Nathaniel Brown? You know how nice it would have been to have a Nathaniel Brown today? Why are we not recruiting him?
I mean, Nathaniel Brown probably would have regretted it this camp, but yes, your point stands very well.
Yeah. Jose Reyes says, such a simple game and we make it impossible. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Concise Development, for joining the channel. Chris Brady or Gaga time? No, guys. Gaga, look, we tend to go...
He got benched in the third division.
I got benched in the third division of the UK. He was awful. Chris Brady's having a decent little start to the season. He's not a better goalkeeper right now than Matt Turner is. We just start looking around for the next name. Reality is we have a goalkeeping problem across the board with all of our goalkeepers. Maybe you could argue Zach Steffen should have started today, but then he got sick. We lack grit. We have big names, plenty of experience, but no chemistry or system. Today I saw no urgency, plus we miss clear chances. Are we Man United? Yeah. I mean, we have a mentality problem with this national team. We have a mentality problem in American soccer culture, including in the fan base. And maybe some of us have helped to contribute to that as well, right? But there is an accountability problem. There's no pressure in this country, right? You just saw it from the super chat. The players clapped the fans clapped our losers off the field. They should have been booed. They should be hiding in their hotel in shame until they can manage to, smuggle onto a plane and get back to Europe. But we don't have a good soccer culture here. And that permeates. It's why we don't have a good soccer media. It's why we don't have a good federation. And so these players are under no real pressure at all. And they think they can turn up and give a performance like that 2 times in a row after the disaster that was Copa America. This is part of the problem. He says USMNT only cares about beating Mexico, LMFAO. See, that's what bothers me is they'll show up for the big intensity games. Mexico's a rivalry, so the players show up for that. The World Cup, it's the World Cup, so the players show up for that. They need to show up that way in every single game, even the friendlies, and including Nations League, including Gold Cup, right? Chuck says, does it really matter who wasn't there? I mean, we've been shit with them before since Berhalter. Only beat Mexico with those key missing players. Yeah, like I said, I think more of this goes down to mentality than anything else. This team lacks identity, they lack drive, and they lack that pride in playing for the national team and wearing the crest and wearing the jersey. And then even when a new player comes in, let's say, they're joining this culture, right? And that culture permeates through the dressing room, the entire dressing room. So it doesn't matter who you bring in. The only guy who seems to be able to not be affected by it is Diego Luna.
And Dest.
Well, I don't know if Dest might not just be affected by it because he's not aware of it.
He doesn't see it.
He doesn't see it. He's just like, I want to do a step over, and then I want to make a compilation, and then one more dance I'm doing.
And dance on the roof.
Dance on the roof, exactly. No way I was going to watch this game. Yeah, well, Matt, you saved yourself 90 minutes of your life. I hope you did something useful with it, because that was a disaster. Are there any positives to take away from this game? I mean, I guess we could say Diego Luna had a good performance.
I thought Luna was a positive, and I mean, look, we can put it one thing. To me, one thing was clear, and I want to make this clear too. I don't think Josh Sargent sucks. We've seen him for club, and he's good. He's a good player, but for national team, he has underperformed. And in this camp, to me, all of the nines were very poor. All of the nines. Two of them probably shouldn't get called up again. And Sargent should only be called up again in an injury crisis.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And like that to me, I don't know if that's a positive, but that's a bit of a lesson, I guess. Maybe that's the best way to put it. There really isn't any we lost both games. Diego Luna was the only one that had something, and maybe this could be a positive if Pochettino feels embarrassed and he's like, okay, I got to take this seriously, because this is actually, it's not, maybe he thought he didn't have to take it seriously because it's CONCACAF. And then now he's like, crap, I was just embarrassed. And then now he turns it up, because Pochettino is not a bad coach. Let's make that clear. He's not a bad coach.
You don't get to a Champions League final with Spurs if you're a bad coach.
Yeah. So maybe the positive from this camp is now this dude might like, okay, do we need to really turn up? Because if we don't work on these players, we might be up for an embarrassment this summer and next summer.
Also, he left guys like that should have been here off the bench. Paxton, Brendan, Zendejas. He should have recruited Nathaniel Brown. He left them at home just to like bring some MLSers that really didn't contribute at all outside of Diego Luna. So like that alone, the roster tells you he thinks it doesn't matter. He can just call up some Camp Cupcake guys and give them a chance. Like, no, but again, all of those things, Poch not caring, the team not caring, that's the bigger symptom, because even the players that were there were good enough to beat Panama for sure, and should have looked better against Canada than we did. Right. Luca De La Torre scores for club today. Could he have helped? Not really. Luca is who he is at this point. Scoring in MLS means very little, to be honest. That's something that's very clear to me.
Also, guys, Pete just talked about that for like 5 minutes straight. Like one player, it could add any player. The culture, the loser's culture that is in there. You add Luca De La Torre, he's also probably going to look like crap.
Yeah.
Like with some rare exceptions, right? We're not talking about like Messi, which he might still look good. But you look at our player pool, it doesn't matter who you add. The culture is there. The loser's culture is there. No one cares. So whoever, like, okay, you talk about De La Torre, guys. Instead of De La Torre, how about a good Christian Pulisic? We had Pulisic there. Why wasn't he playing well any of the games? McKennie. Those are players that are playing the Champions League, scoring in the Champions League, and they look like crap. It's much deeper than one player that we add.
So I want to address this. Alberthez says, didn't MLS Bamayang score today? Yes, he did. He got extremely lucky on that goal. Credit to Diego Luna, who's an MLS player, who we are praising here. So this is not about him and being an MLS player. He's just not a quality player. He got a chance from 7 yards out with just the keeper, and he shot it tamely at the keeper, and we're lucky it went through the keeper's legs and bounced off and went in.
He also played like shit. Like he
the
was
rest
terrible.
Of the game, he couldn't hold up the ball. He couldn't complete a pass. He could sometimes didn't even win the headers. What is he, 6'7"? How many long balls were dumped?
No, he's not
towards
6'7".
him?
He's really 6'7".
6'4". He's tall, right? He's a tall guy. He was terrible today, and he was terrible in the last game when he fluffed 2 easy chances. So look, he got the goal. It'll go down on him. But watch the game. Watch the game. That wasn't even a good goal. He got lucky that went in at all. And sure, he was trying, and I'll give him credit for trying. He just has no quality. It's not his fault, okay? And that's okay. Go back to Charlotte and try to have a good season, maybe score more than 1 goal in 4 games or whatever it is. But like Bamayang and Brian White, people were saying, oh, he scores in MLS. Brian White also fluffed a sitter today that he should have scored. They're not good strikers, right? Like the Camp Cupcake curse of like, oh, he scored in Camp Cupcake, so we should bring him in now to a meaningful game. No. But again, all of those issues doesn't matter when the overarching issue remains the same, right? The overarching issue, like I've been saying, is that this team has nothing in them. They don't care. You can see it by their body language, by the way they play, by the way they react. Again, watch the end of that game. We're trying to get an equalizer in the last minute. Go watch any team that gives a fuck about a last-minute knockout goal. They're sending everybody up. The keeper's in there for corners. They're pushing. They're getting the ball into the box. Players are making hard runs. We're just tippy-tap. Try something.
We behave like a friendly. That's how we behave. Look, there's a comment there from Ian, and he says, you guys are great, but this team is making your show feel like boring reruns. And Ian, we actually agree with you. And me and Pete talk about this, how covering this generation, which when we started, we were so excited for and so happy, and it was so crazy of like young players coming up, and the future was promising. But it has become a task to cover this generation because it's hard for us to feel excited when the players look like they don't give a crap, and we keep losing too, right? That's another thing too. Losing is a big problem. We're going to continue to cover, but to say that we're not really like tired of this generation, and they kind of have to win. They don't have to just win you guys over. They kind of have to win us. So if they care too, I don't think they care about winning any of us over. Actually, it doesn't seem like they care, right, Pete? Does it seem like they give a shit?
No, they don't care about the fans. Otherwise, they would put on better performances than that.
They make good money. Yeah, they're happy the way it is, but like they have to start winning games, show that they care, and then maybe we'll get excited again. We'll see how it goes the next few months. I'm a little tired.
Chuck, we really have no Demerits or Jones out there. No. Our Demerits and Jones are on the field, but they're not.
I need a J
Demerits and Jones, right? Poch sitting too much needs to yell instructions if you care enough to yell instructions.
But that wouldn't change also the underlying issues that Pete talked about, like yelling instructions. Also, yelling instructions during the game, like there's a point where these are professional players. They know how to play. Like,
yeah.
What is he going to say? Pass and move?
Just get Colin Reese out there. He'll be cheaper.
Pass and move.
Pass and move, boys. No, but my point is that I don't think Poch cares enough, to be honest. He just shakes his head when something doesn't go right? He's like, how do you feel about a Gio 10, Luna 8, Tyler 6 midfield, Pulisic left wing, Balo 9, and Weah right wing? I mean, sure, you could try that. Again, though, what difference is it going to make? If the players don't care enough, you could throw that lineup out there and you might get the same result. You know what I mean? It's, again, we can talk all day about things we should have done differently, or maybe we should have had, a certain player in this position, or maybe we should have called up this guy, and maybe those things would have helped. But generally speaking, they can only bridge that gap between winning and losing so much. The biggest gap that we need to bridge right now is the mentality of this team. That is Poch's number one. No, Poch's number one job is to look himself in the mirror and start giving a fuck about his $6 million a year job. That's his number one job. And then he needs to transmit that mentality change to the team and make it clear with words and actions that these kind of performances, not just results, because remember, this is not performances where we played really well and got unlucky. We thoroughly deserved to lose both of those games. You could make an argument, maybe if we'd scored against Panama, it would be different. But overall, the performance, we didn't deserve to win either of these games. We didn't. And I know you guys have seen me more angry than this in the past, but I am so tired of being angry. I'm in that stage of grief where I'm moving more towards apathy myself, because I give too many fucks about, do you know how much of my life I spend not just covering this team on YouTube, but every weekend I have to watch games I don't give a shit about just to keep track of our players so I can talk about them with some intelligence and like knowledge and info. I don't want to watch Norwich play, right? I don't want to check in on how Marlon Fossey's doing in Belgium. I don't even really want to watch Crystal Palace play to see how Chris Richards is doing. I don't, but I do it because I care about this team and I care about the growth of the game in this country. And I want us to be better. I want soccer to grow. Tack and I both do. But we can only do so much with a microphone and a webcam. At the end of the day, what gets people excited about, soccer in this country is how our national team performs. And every time these players come out and actively tell you with their actions, that you shouldn't care either. So at some point, fans start listening to them. And they go, yeah, well, if you're not going to care, why should I? I have four other major sports in this country to follow, plus college, right? College ball, plus, I don't know, monster trucks might be more entertaining at this point, right?
Pete, look at the video that I shared there of a fan. You want to put it on? I'll put it on.
Yeah, I put it on already.
Look at what he said.
They don't get it. We feel it. We bleed for this. We want it. We need change.
So they don't get it. We feel this. We bleed for this. We want it. We need it. We need change. That is a real passionate fan coming after the players, the federation, in honestly a very peaceful way, right? Very nice way, actually. He's being very nice.
It might be called toxic, though, by some sections of the fan base.
Yeah, some might call
being too negative.
But that is a fan with like actual passion, and he's demonstrating it and protesting in a very nice way, actually, to the players. I actually think I shouldn't go over that. I think that's about as far as you should go. But I mean, that's how we're all feeling right now. I'm very low energy with this team right now. That's
same. I mean, I remember being so angry after Copa America, right? So angry after like the World Cup. But I've lost the will to be angry now. I'm angry for the time that I've spent covering this team. That's what I'm more angry for. I feel personally insulted. And I feel insulted for you guys who also invest your time to watch games, to buy tickets, to buy jerseys, to talk about this team on Twitter. You take your time to watch our videos. You follow our players in Europe. You follow young prospects coming out of MLS. And this is what you are repaid with. This is the experience of a soccer fan in this country. Joseph Cochran says, honestly, I think players like McKennie and Pulley get butthurt about the half-empty stadium. Well, they shouldn't. You need to fill up the stadium, buddy. It's your job to make people give a fuck, to want to pay the obscene prices U.S. soccer charges, which is another issue, to come and watch this team be a miserable failure over and over again. I remember Pulisic criticizing after the Morocco friendly, right, and saying there wasn't enough fans there. Yeah, you haven't given the reasons a fan to show up. People work hard Monday through Friday, and they have a weekend. And it's not just in Los Angeles. If they're going to come watch this team play on a Sunday, that means they probably got to fly in on Saturday. That's tickets, plus an Uber to the airport, right? Then you've got to book a hotel. Then you've got to pay for food, restaurants, whatever, or an Airbnb, whatever it is. Then you've got to go to the game. Now you've got to fly back late Sunday night. That's your whole weekend. And that's what you're rewarded with? That's why no one shows up. I'm not surprised SoFi is half empty. To watch this, thank God I didn't go. I had people reaching out offering me free tickets. Thank you to everyone who did. It's very nice of you. I wouldn't go watch that.
I wouldn't say nice. It seemed like they really hated you.
I don't think they were expecting something that bad, to be honest.
They're like, I really hate Pete. Hey, want USMNT tickets? It's like, you really hate that person. What do you give them? USMNT.
Tack, someone's asking in the chat where they can find the footage. Can you just retweet it on Twitter?
It's on my Twitter. Yeah, it's on my Twitter.
So just go to Tactical Manager TV on Twitter. He's retweeted that video, the frustrated fan. Concise Development says, can we agree Mauricio Pochettino isn't who we thought? I loved him taking down underperforming sacred cows like Weston McKennie and Christian Pulisic, but not playing a locksmith like Luna Gio game one was a massive misstep that cost us. Look, Gio did well with those set pieces, but I don't think it should take away that he was very poor otherwise. Giovanni Reyna, and I'll just address this now, from what I saw on the 25-odd minutes that he played, very slow with his decision-making. When he got the ball, you can tell that his confidence is completely shot, right? Secondly, when he did make a decision, it was oftentimes too safe. We saw Gio Reyna that used to turn with the ball, try to take a player on, play a through pass in behind, or at least switch the play quickly to the other side. Gio Reyna needs a complete reset. He needs to leave Dortmund. He needs to get his head down. He needs to work hard wherever he ends up going. And I don't know where he's going to go. And he needs to return to the player that he once was. Credit to him for 3 excellent set pieces, which frankly, we should have scored at least one of those. But overall, between Dortmund and this latest 25 minutes for the national team, there's an issue with Giovanni Reyna. I don't know if it's a fear of injury, a lack of confidence, or even just a lack of caring, whatever it is. But wherever he goes next, he needs to figure it the fuck out, because all that quality is going to be wasted if he doesn't. Okay. Let's see here.
It kind of sucks that the U.S. men's national team is making these post games a bunch of like cope sessions.
That's what it is. It's just us all commiserate. I can't even do tactical analysis, which is what I enjoy the most, because there's no tactics to talk about. Tactical analysis is a moot point when you play with that kind of hunger and desire, or lack of it.
Well, it's like the last stream, Pete, when we got to the end, we're like, should we do player ratings? And then we were just like, does it matter? Like, no. It's just like, okay, like today, for example, today we'll give Luna maybe like a 6 or 7, like a 6. And then outside of that, everyone's like between 1 and 3.
Yeah, pretty much. Luna showed heart because he is Mexican. I think he showed heart because he gives a fuck. Whether you're Mexican-American or American-American, you need to care. You need to care. He cares, clearly. Kevin Sullivan will save us. Okay. Kevin Sullivan is an MLS Next Pro level 15-year-old player. Let's not try to put anything on this poor kid who's just trying to figure out his professional career here.
Let him develop. Like, what are we going to do? Like,
yeah, we can't start making some 15-year-old, in my opinion, overrated prospect. A good potential player, but very overrated. The savior. He's not it. This team has to be the most productive U.S. representing team to grow the game meaningfully. Before then, no complaints about crowd size. Yeah. You want to grow the game? Win. Perform. Make people proud. Ricardo Jimenez, we need a 3-4-2-1. Stefan, Richard, CCV, McKenzie, Dest, McKenny, Adams, Jedi, Reyna, Pulisic, Pepe. I mean, look, I don't hate that lineup, Ricardo. I'd probably throw A-Rob there instead of CCV. But again, it's all of these points about lineups and formations are a little bit, I don't want to say they're moot, but they are sort of secondary right now to the real overarching issues, is kind of what I'm trying to say on this stream. Is all that other stuff, and I like talking about it, is good, but it doesn't fucking matter if you're not going to show up on the day. CC Heat, wanted to see Pulisic and Reyna for 90 minutes. If we are saying Luna is our ceiling, I think we are not going to go far in 26. Starts with the lineup. Agreed with all of that, except it starts up here, before the lineup, before you get on the field, before the coach does anything. It all starts up here. That's where it's got to start. Balo, Dest, Malik, Jedi, Johnny, Pepe playing Gold Cup. Let's hope so. I mean, if they don't get injured. Stephen Nagishi, Poch doesn't care. Players treat USMNT like a chore, and the USSF plays in an oversized stadium and expensive ticket. This is a vicious hellhole. Honestly, I feel for all of you guys here. Most of you have been loyal fans of the channel and loyal fans of the national team for 5 years for the channel, and obviously for a lot of you much longer. Do you know how many messages and TAC get to these as well? Do you know how many messages I get every day? Well, not every day, but frequently I get messages from people. Email, Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, just saying, hey, look, I appreciate your coverage, but I'm going to tune out of this team for a while because I'm so not excited. I can't give a fuck anymore, you know? And when people send that to me, I'm like, look, I'm sad to see you go, but I don't blame you. You know, if I might tune out a bit too, if I didn't have the commitment to this channel, at least till 2026. And honestly, I spend most of my weekends, Tack and I talk about this all the time. Tack's weekend is largely trying to put together the American abroads, and mine are focused on the top 10 if I'm not on set or busy working or whatever. But it's just like, why do I give so much of me? Why do we give so much of us when our players give so little and our federation gives so little? The Z says, so y'all just gonna complain the whole stream. Z, honestly, if you could give me something to hold on to, I would really appreciate it. If you could put in a chat, I'll put it up here. If you can give me something, give me a reason to not complain. Give me one. What is there anything from that game outside of Luna looking pretty good? Like, is there anything from that game that I can take away as a positive? I don't know. I mean, you tell me. If you get, I'm looking for something. Give me something.
We could just not cover. That's the other option.
Yeah, the alternative is
no, Pete. we should be celebrating. We finished fourth. That's not bad. That's almost a bronze medal.
Almost in CONCACAF, the second worst confederation on the planet.
At home. At
home. So Z, I'm waiting, man. Take the responsibility. Put on the mantle of being the bearer of positive news. We are waiting for it.
The thing that bothered me about this comment is like when we had the most fun with this channel were the 2 summers where we were winning a lot, right? We won the Nations League Gold Cup and that one with BJ Callahan. We were enjoying it. We were having fun. And that's where we really, really liked what we were doing. But like we don't want to be complaining here the whole time. Like if you guys haven't noticed, very often we're lost for words here because we're just tired of repeating the same thing.
Yes.
And we're hoping at some point it'll change. And sure, maybe this team will magically click during the World Cup. Maybe. But let's be real. The way things are looking right now, it would take a freaking miracle for that to happen. Or as we joked at my channel, because Pochettino said something that, Mr. President, with your support, we can win the World Cup. If Trump makes it that only American citizens can play in the World Cup, we might win it. That might be the way. That might be the way to win it.
Clash King says, I have a positive. The game is over. That's probably the most positive thing that we can hold on to right now. It's done, at least until Gold Cup. But you know what else I have to do now for the next 2.5 months? Go cover our players again. I don't even want to. Half of them are injured. The other half aren't having good seasons. It's going to be a rough couple months here. We'll still do it because we're committed to this channel and, you know, both of our channels, and we're trying, but it's hard.
I'm going to focus on the TST. I'm going to focus on the TST.
Yeah, we're going to try to go win our own tournaments. I'll promise you one thing. Our team in the TST will care. They will absolutely care. And we will care. We won't be coaching I Show Speed anywhere or talking to Argentine uncles of Montreal failed players. We will be there. We will be coaching. Raul Ramirez.
Even though we would take them, well, not him because he's a bad boy, but like we would take guys that have failed in Montreal on the team. They could be good. We would take that. We can talk to their uncles.
Raul Ramirez says, I got a positive, Pete. The ref was hot AF. I mean, congrats to you. It doesn't do much for me, but I'm glad you were able to get a positive out of it. See, that's the kind of spirit you're looking for, man. Maybe you should friend request, what's his name?
The ref.
Raul Ramirez, and together you guys can drool over the ref. I don't know.
Yeah, they're in my chat at least. There were a lot of people that loved the ref because the game was so bad. That's all they had. I think.
Dan Nelson says effort is an excuse. Disagree. Effort is the starting point. Poch sets us up for failure at every turn. Then we fail, and the demand is play harder. Roster selection, subs, formation. He doesn't understand the pool and doesn't care. So see, Dan, what you said at the end contradicts what you said at the beginning. You said effort is an excuse, but then you said Poch doesn't care. So if he doesn't care, then there is no effort there. And when the coach is that way, that transmits through the team. It's not only the coach. They shouldn't need the coach to care for them to care, but it's a part of the problem. It's a big part of the problem, right? Sam Lake, we might have a new spicy Jeff. Silver lining, Felipe, it's Filippo, looks like a taller, handsomer Tom Cruise. Is that a compliment, Tack?
No, I just said that I am taller and better looking Tom Cruise.
Well, there you go. That's positive, I guess.
I just think so. So confidence.
Definitely
taller though. That's for sure.
Yeah, but that's not hard. You know, my dog was almost about as tall as Tom Cruise, Taco. So, please, fellas, don't give up. I love the show. We're not going anywhere. Like, we're still here. We're still going to keep covering this team at least until after the World Cup, and then after that, it's reevaluate everything. You know who I envy right now, Tack? Remember this guy called Sam Stokes or Sam something?
Yank Report, yeah. Sam was smart.
He quit right before the disasters hit.
He knew something we did. He had vision. He was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. He's like, I'm out. And so he might still be suffering if he's watching the game as a fan, but at least he doesn't have to continue to cover the team because he's decided to remove himself from it. So good for him. I hope wherever he is, he's happy and living his best life and, you know, not he's not subject to the same things we are. Do y'all live off this channel? We get this question from time to time, and the simple answer is no. You can't live off a channel that gets 5,000 to 10,000 views per video and then a few more in camp. As much as we would like to, that's just not going to happen. This is
we told
passion.
like we told this to all of you many times. We do it because we like it, but unfortunately, right now we're not liking it very much. So
No,
we're not going to stop. We're committed at least till the World Cup because we have this commitment with everyone. We said it, and we're going to do it.
yeah,
But yeah, we do it because we always have enjoyed it. You can't do this full time unless you're getting like 50 to 100,000 views. Then
no.
you can maybe
Then you
start
could
to go
maybe
with that.
live on it. Yeah.
Consistently, right? Consistently, that, not randomly. But no, we enjoy it, even though lately, as I said, not enjoying that much. So
Stephen Nagishi says, Donovan calling the crap out of USMNT on X. Look, I respect Donovan for his career and what he did for the national team as a player, but he's part of the media problem too, where he is constantly shilling for guys to come back to MLS. He's part of the accountability problem. He wants everyone to come and play in MLS and just have a happy-go-lucky exhibition league. So I don't really take anything Donovan says too seriously. He's also shilling for Mexico for money during the World Cup in 2018. He said a lot of nonsense. So now he wants to call the crap out of them. It's like, dude, you're part of the fucking problem, okay? I'm sorry. I can't respect that guy ever since he retired. Love what he did as a player, as a pundit. Thanks, but no thanks. This USMNT fails to get out of the World Cup. If they play like this, yes, I agree with you. Out of the World Cup group stage. This USMNT will be remembered as one of the worst USMNTs. Oh, Hugh's back. I haven't seen him in a while. Jeff Carey, Tack, we still have that nude weekend on Brokeback Mountain. In case your day couldn't get bad enough here, Tack.
we
Jeff
don't
Carey's
have
inviting
that.
you for
We
a nude
don't have
weekend.
that. We don't have that.
Sorry, it must be tough for Jeff, getting a lot of rejection every time. Winning 3 out of 4 Nations Leagues isn't that bad. No, winning 3 out of 4, winning the Nations League is bare minimum, right? Like, this is not a difficult federation to win in. So when you don't win in it, it so shows you how bad things are.
Well, but Rocco, it's also not just about this Nations League. We are coming off an embarrassing Copa America where we fired the coach, rightfully so. We hired a new expensive coach. Months have gone by, and we just went through a 4th place finish in the CONCACAF Nations League, which is very close to as bad, if not worse, than the Copa America embarrassment. It's not really just, oh, we lost the Nations League. Sure, let's say we made it to the final and we lost to Mexico 2-1. Like, that's not a disaster. It can happen, right? One game. It's how it happened. The goal, the Copa America, and now this. It's how it's going. There's no progress. It's also the way we played that matters too, right? It's not like we got unlucky. Actually, we got lucky to not lose by more, if anything. So, yeah, we're regressing, and that's where we have an issue with. Sure, winning 3 out of 4. If you 20 years from now, when you look, oh, the U.S. won 3 in a row, then they lost one, and hopefully we win the next one. That's not bad, but it's the context of it that we're talking about here.
Also, if you had lost this, let's say we beat Panama playing really well, and we played really well in the final and lost to an unlucky goal or whatever, that would be different. It wasn't just the loss, it was the nature of the performances that makes it so hard to stomach. Losing can happen in a 90-minute game. Sometimes teams win games that they shouldn't win, right? It can happen in 90 minutes. It's rare because on the overall, the better teams do win, but it can happen. But again, it's the nature of the performances that makes it so hard to stomach. If I'm Nathaniel Brown, I'm waiting for Germany. Honestly, I couldn't blame him at this point, could I? Especially since Poch doesn't seem to care for him. Poch doesn't seem to care at all. Young Rami, respect to you guys for following the players and covering them on active duty. Thank you for your service. And y'all provide a great service. We appreciate it. It's you guys that keep us going. Because believe me, if our views drop completely to like 500 views or something, we're probably not going to keep covering it. So it literally is you guys. It's not the team anymore. It's you guys keeping us going. We're doing it for you at this point because, that's all that's left. The only
Barely.
people who care are right here in this chat.
Barely.
And the one guy in the stadium, But thank you. We do appreciate it. And again, thank you for your service. What are the odds of Trump denying visas for players in the World Cup to fast track the USMNT to win the World Cup? Not going to happen. He understands. Trump, okay, say whatever you want about Trump, like him or hate him, whatever you feel about Trump. He understands the value of spectacle, and he understands the value of tourism. Trust me, nobody wants the World Cup to be more of a success than Donald Trump.
He owns hotels.
He owns hotels. You don't think he wants to pack them with as many soccer fans as possible? I don't think that's a realistic chance of happening. We can win World Cup by making Canada 51st state.
We both suck.
They suck too.
We both suck. No, we can't. Maybe we can win. Maybe we can compete in CONCACAF.
Fuck this team in Poch. I love you guys, though. Thank you, Javier. Where are we? Peaches, fair play. Grab a beer, lads. I'm going to do this in an English accent. Fair play. Grab a beer, lads. I'm also an England fan, so used to this kind of disappointment. I actually think you guys are going to be okay under Thomas Tuchel, because Thomas Tuchel knows how to win knockouts. But I know the era you're talking about. I actually used to be an England fan way back when, in the Michael Owen era. Michael Owen, Beckham, Paul Scholes, Nicky Butt, the Neville brothers, Rio Ferdinand. That was way back when I was a teenager. They were like my second team. But I got tired of watching them be shit over and over again, too. I can't quit you, Tack. Wow, Jeff is very persistent. Jeff, what's that movie that Anna Kendrick just made about a man who won't give up and ends up stalking her? What's it called? I don't remember what it's called, but you should watch that one.
I don't watch movies anymore.
Jeff.
I got tired
Viewer
of watching.
Since 21 World Cup qualifying. Thanks for everything, Jeff 2. This is a different Jeff?
No, I think
thanks to Jeff for the entertainment, probably.
Yeah, true.
I think the Midwest would fill the stadium, to be honest. I mean, an MLS stadium, sure. An MLS 20,000 seater probably would fill.
Well, I mean, listen, guys. This is the U.S. men's national team, the U.S. national team, right? They should fill up the stadium wherever they play. It's our country.
You can't blame the fans for this. You can't blame the fans for not filling it. The team has not given them a reason to fill up the stadium. And U.S. soccer has not given anybody a reason to fill up the stadium. I love you too, Pete, but I'm a tack sexual. Jeff, I'm totally okay with that. You keep all the pressure on Tack. I'm okay being the sideshow here. Thank you, Jeremiah, and thank you to all of you who've sent super chats. We're not going to drone on for too long just because there isn't really much more to say. A way forward, the bare minimum is go win the World Cup. That's really it. I mean, you have the Gold Cup. I'm sorry. Go win the Gold Cup, win it playing well, and then use the rest of the time between the Gold Cup and the World Cup to build on that. But most importantly, we need to inject ourselves with the right sort of mentality. Okay? That is what matters right now. And we don't have it. We just don't. Tack, do you have any last words? I'm not going to do player ratings again. Diego Luna is the only guy who gets above a 5 for me. He probably gets a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I thought Luna was the only one also. The goal that we scored, I would say was like 75% him. And Luna also played really hard, like defending and made some good passes too here and there. I thought he was good. I don't have any final thoughts. We'll just see how it goes. Like I said, we'll continue to cover the team for the next 2 months. Me and Pete are also going to be very busy preparing for the TST. We have a team in the TST competing for $1 million. We have good players coming, and that'll be early June. And we're counting also with you guys, all your support for it, watching our games, just like any support helps. And then after that, we'll go to the Gold Cup, and we'll see how the U.S. does. And hopefully they bounce back in the Gold Cup. And then from there, we can at least start to get excited, because then we're going to be 1 year away or less than a year away from the World Cup. So, I mean, nothing else to say. We'll continue the regular coverage. It's actually kind of good, I think, that we're going to have 2 months not really watching this horrible team play. And hopefully they can figure it out by then. We'll see. And someone asked, put the TST shirts for sale. Unfortunately, we will not be able to sell the jerseys. We're going to have some beautiful jerseys. I would say the best jerseys in the TST. We'll be doing maybe like a giveaway. Like maybe we'll see if we'll do a giveaway on Instagram or something, or YouTube, but we can't sell it. We don't have a store or anything. So unfortunately, we won't be able to sell it.
Yeah. All right, guys. My condolences. it is what it is. I'll do the Patreon tomorrow. Are we doing a 7 things we learned?
I'll try my best. I'll see. It's just gonna be 7 like things shitting on the team, but yeah, I guess I'll do it. I could shit on this team a little bit more. I think so.
All right, go for it. Last few super chats. Beer holder in. No, thank you. Our team is comprised of role players. Probably true to a degree, Jeremiah, but again, I think the issues are much bigger than that. I completely agree that this team did not care during this tournament, but is it also possible we just don't match up well against Canada? No, we beat Canada before under BJ Callahan. And again, it wasn't a matchup issue. It was a grit and fight and mentality issue. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Sunday for whatever that's worth, and we'll talk to you soon.